Do 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 do. Welcome to the Red Beam Podcast, the New Orleans edition. This is your host, Mr. Toad.
And I'm Dr. Frog.
I had to talk to you about this topic. It's all over the news.
Yes.
What are we talking about, Dr. Frog?
The assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump.
Ah, man. What was your reaction when you saw that picture? And we're going to put it up here as we're talking about it, of seeing the President of the United States, or former, who's the incumbent right now, bleeding across his face and swinging a fist saying, fight, fight.
Well, at first, it didn't surprise me. I remember when he was running back in 2016, and I think there was gunshots in Dayton, Ohio, which is, Ohio is right next to Pennsylvania, even though Dayton's on the west side of it. But, and so, you kind of expect some guns fires to go off sometimes at a Trump rally. So, that didn't surprise me. What did surprise me, though, is I wasn't sure where he was shot. I know that there was blood on his ear and some on the front of his face. And he went down pretty quick. And it made me wonder, was there shots anywhere else? Because other than that, he was pretty covered.
I think
afterwards. And this is our first reaction.
Yeah, but I think what's going on is that the shooter, I would just consider this a miracle. I can't really call it anything else other than a miracle, because that bullet was so close. But so basically, and this is from my experience shooting guns and stuff, is that he probably wasn't even hit with the bullet. I honestly think just by the wind blowing by, because that's what Trump says in one of his, when people are asking questions, he said, I know something is wrong because I started hearing this whizzing sound. And actually, when we were watching some videos, we got to see a streak of air right next to him as he was still doing his speech.
Yeah, so you think the wind
itself could cut you if you get too close. Wow. Yeah, wind is like dangerous.
So
it's like a liquid. It's like a liquid in the air. That's why they do fluid aerodynamics, is the idea that you're pushing through the air. Because to give you an example, when they do the the rail gun from the United States Navy, they're working on this project, and actually this projectile they shoot out of the rail gun, there is no gunpowder. There's no substance that causes an explosion. So what happens is, as this projectile leaves the railgun, you're seeing this huge fireball, and the fireball is the air is catching on fire.
So, and that might also explain why the blood was on the front of the face, because it was the same directional line.
Yeah.
Behind his right shoulder.
Because he was turning his head, and then you could see something whizzing, and also he's like, ah!
Yeah, and so the shooter used this semi-automatic rifle on top of a structure. Do you know the distance?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Semi-automatic, it sounded like 4 shots went out.
It was 7, I think. It was
7 total. But
actually, it was an AR-style rifle. That's
what the AR style, okay.
So I'm thinking this is 223 or 556. It could be 300 blackout. It could be a lot of things. But on our part 2 of the assassination on Trump, I think we have to really think about the person who died behind Trump.
Yeah, there was someone behind him. And
because when you see Trump on TV, you see all these crowds of people behind him, and you don't think, like, those people aren't that far away from him. And so if someone's shooting, theoretically, at Trump, those people behind him, they're taking the hits.
Yeah, there was this one girl directly behind Trump who gave this really great interview to the BBC afterwards. Or actually, it might be CBS is where she gave the interview. And so that person was right next to her, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Who fell down, but it really makes you wonder, and this is what she wondered as she got down. Are they just aiming for Trump, or were they going to aim for Trump supporters? If you were up on that stand, you might be wondering, is the target just Trump, or is this an attack on the fan base as well?
So I'm going to put up the image. The shooter has been identified. The shooter's name is Thomas Matthew Crooks, and what we know about the Trump attacker, we're going to be presenting some stuff from the BBC here. What we know is he's 20 years old. He's from the small town of Pittsburgh, Bethel Park in Pennsylvania.
That's in South Pittsburgh,
yeah.
Pennsylvania, yeah.
And the FBI named a young local man, Thomas Matthew Crooks, as the person who shot at Donald
And he's
Trump.
a 20-year-old. You know, he looks like the kind of kid in chess club who only knows one opening and just keeps doing that since they were 6.
He was killed by a Secret Service sniper, officially.
Where was the sniper located? Was there another tower behind him?
I wonder. Like, we have no idea, but I can tell you one thing. So I'm always interested in firearms and accuracy, and one of the things I started looking into was like different manufacturers. And there's this one gun, particularly called the PG-30. It's from Heckler & Koch, H&K, and they have it in Metal Gear Solid on one of the games as a sniper rifle.
Yeah, I remember that.
So one of the things about this rifle, I was talking to someone about it, I was like, yeah, so the rifle's like $15,000. Sometimes it's a little higher than that, with inflation and everything.
How did this 20-year-old get a hand on that? Must have been a hunting family or something.
No, but what the idea is that the reason they built this rifle was for extreme accuracy.
Oh.
Because what happened is that in Germany, they had in one of the Olympics a hostage crisis, and all the hostages were killed. And so the German government was like, we need a better response to terrorism. Because there used to be stuff like people hijacking airplanes. Terrorism used to be a much... It's still a factor, but not as much as it once was, I think.
Well, people are more concerned about domestic terrorism now rather than international. After 9/11, we really became more concerned about threats outside of our nation. And now Biden at least said that most likely, if there's another attack, it's going to be domestic.
Sure, but what I'm saying ultimately is I think when the Secret Service basically had something like a PG-30, or they had this one rifle I saw in the program. It was like they're worth a lot of money, but they're like handmade in Russia, and they're like super ultra accurate. Because you have to imagine when you have this gun in your hand and you're a sniper, you have maybe a couple shots, and that's it. Maybe not even that, just one.
Is it the magazine, or is it you give away your location after the first?
I think because you're to shoot, there's going to be a certain amount of recoil, and then the person's going to fall over, or
duck, or run,
or kill the person.
You only got one shot.
Yeah, exactly. You're done. You have one shot.
It's tough. It's just like the Makarov mission in Modern Warfare, right? You got to look at the flag to see which way the wind's blowing.
No.
And it looked like this one was a little off from a headshot.
Yeah.
So
super close.
Luckily, it wasn't a Kennedy type situation, or it wasn't.
Actually, they got Robert F. Kennedy's take on it, and he was really disgusted by what happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
He sees he's like, this is so terrible.
I meant his little brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But this is something in our lifetime that I didn't expect to happen. I was probably too young to politically be attuned to assassinations when Reagan got shot in the chest, I believe. I'm not sure if it was the chest, but there was an assassination attempt on Reagan. Bobby Kennedy as well. I
think we're going to go into a little bit of the shooter's history. We have a little bit of
Lincoln,
information about
him.
John Wilkes Booth, blowing out a chunk of Abraham Lincoln's brain during a play. That's, brutal.
Nowadays, you can only ask for a refund if it's 20 minutes in. So
that's right.
Ruin the show for everyone.
Hey, this is a terrible show.
The president got assassinated. It was very
I don't want to see this. Get out of here.
And the kid was crying.
Oh, jeez. But what we know about Thomas Crooks here is
sure,
he worked in a local nursing home kitchen just as a short drive away from his home. State voter records show that he was registered Republican according to U.S. media.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we have a registered Republican. Now, do you think he was maybe a Democrat who registered Republican to be?
Yeah, I think
maybe.
Here's the next thing. He also reported to have donated $15 to liberal campaign group Act Blue. So what I think happened was he was registered as Republican, and he went way left.
Or, maybe he...
Really left.
Well, what I've heard from some way left people is that you want to register Republican so you can vote in their primaries for who's least likely to win. So that way you get to influence the other party's candidate.
Oh, and law enforcement officials have believed the weapon was shot, the one that was shot at Donald Trump, was purchased by Crooks' father.
Oh.
Speaking on the conditions of anonymity, two officers told AP that Crooks' father bought a weapon at least 6 months ago.
Now, if you were a registered Republican as a father, wouldn't you be disappointed in your son if he took out the Republican guy?
It's like, geez, I don't vote.
Yeah, I wonder though. I mean, so on the $15 donation thing, I'll be honest. I donate to so many small causes. You know, $10 here, $20 here. Politically wise, I've probably donated to a lot more independent.
I think you can write that off in your taxes, can't you? As a political donation?
Whether you write it off on your taxes depends on if you get the single payer deduction. Usually, especially post-Trump, if you donate in what you can write off is if it's more than $1,200 or something, then you're more likely to do it. But most people don't donate in the thousands per year. Most people, especially if you're a 20-year-old and you're working in a nursing home or something. But all I'm saying is, we can look at where he's donated $15 before. But I know I've donated $15 for all sorts of causes, and not been aware of their political affiliations. So, red, blue, or green. So it might be, we're going to assume it's politically motivated, but we don't really see.
What
a big online presence. There seems to be a lack of an online presence for this kid, which is nice as well. But
it also says that the Bethel Park police said there was bomb investigation surrounding Crooks' home. Access to the area remains tightly controlled, so they're controlling the home of the shooter, with police vehicles blocking the roads. Only residents have been allowed in or out. Law enforcement sources told CBS that they believe some degree of planning ahead of the shooting. How much time was spent in the planning, however, remains the subject of an ongoing investigation.
Yeah.
Police believe he acted alone, but are continuing to investigate whether he was accompanied to the rally.
Well, and what they're probably concerned about is he working with another group of people who...
Is there a second shooter?
Who wants...
Or potential shooter?
Or if this doesn't work, leading up to the Republican National Convention, is there another plan for if this doesn't work, or is there, a group of other people he's talking about who also have the same motivation? They're looking for motivation here, and how well planned it is.
Here's some more updates on Thomas Matthew Crooks. KDKA is a local news outlet. Young locals who went to school with him described him as a loner who was frequently bullied and sometimes wore hunting outfits to school. Another classmate of his, Summer Barkley, cast him differently, telling the BBC that he was always getting good grades on tests and was very passionate about history. Anything on government history.
He really cared about the Roman Empire.
He seemed to know about it, he said, but it was nothing out of the ordinary. He was always nice.
So if you were to be in the woods with a bear or Matthew Crook...
as long as my name's not Donald J. Trump, I think I'll be okay. I'll pick Matthew Brooks.
Yeah, if he's a loner too, he'd probably leave you alone,
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool, dude. I have to get out of here.
Yeah, how about we hunt the small game over there instead of the most dangerous game, right? Anyway, jokes aside, this is really a serious topic.
Yeah.
And
there's an image of him on top of the roof. We can see that here.
How do people just have pictures of...
Look at that, him up on the roof.
Was the sniper that took him out, were they just watching him, waiting for him to fire?
That I'm not...
How do people have pictures just like, there's some shooter on top of the building there?
Here's the conspiracy theory part of our episode. This is the part where we can't say it's true or not, but these are some rumors I've heard out loud. I'm going to the rumor mill.
But hey, some people to the swamp to find out.
Yeah, but some people are saying that the Secret Service waited for him to shoot.
Oh, so they were aware of him maybe, and the sniper had to be... they took him out pretty fast after the shot.
I mean, it was like seconds after the shot.
So do you think that they had a sniper, a Secret Service sniper, trained on him, waiting for him to actually... it does show that our force is a little bit less proactive. It's a little more response.
Wow. Look at that. This is, we have a little bit of the image. I don't know if we'll be able to put that up here, but I will try. But it looks basically like a storage shed. You can see the individual right there. You can see his long hair, and he has the rifle, and he's pointing at a specific angle. Probably at the rally. So he was outside of the security perimeter.
Look at that hair. It looks like he should be at a Leonard Skinner concert.
Yeah, either that or a a flower child, but unfortunately we didn't get either of those.
Well, I can't picture very many flower children that are trained on the semi-automatic.
Yeah, exactly.
You know. But hey, this is new age kind of stuff, so.
And here's the thing that we now know is how far was the suspect gunman from Donald Trump? And according to these measurements here...
Butler's a bit north of Pittsburgh, isn't it? So he must have...
There's Trump stage there, there's the law enforcement, and this is the gunman right here.
Wow.
So he was like...
A bit far out.
I'm talking almost a half a mile to a mile.
You're looking at a football field there.
Yeah, this is... he was not next door, I'll tell you that right now. We'll put up the image of the shooting incident.
I mean, I haven't seen an attack this brutal around Pennsylvania or Pittsburgh since Myles Garrett took off his helmet and hit Kyle Rudolph or Miller or whoever the Pittsburgh young quarterback was over the head with his helmet.
Oh, geez. Pittsburgh, it's a violent place.
It is. Yeah.
But this is the image here. The gunman, you have the law enforcement snipers, and then you have the spectator benches, and then you have Trump's. So when he was shooting over the crowd, and aiming at, and then people behind Trump on the side of Trump got hit. So technically, no one was behind Trump. Technically.
So someone in the audience member.
Well, maybe a few people, like just from the image, but
there was someone who got killed.
Yes. So one of the spectators that was there was killed. And that's a real shame. Let me just look into who was killed. And what did you want to say about the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you have any caring words?
Things about this? I mean, let's just say the Iron Curtain, was in the 70s, and so it looks like there wasn't a really good defense on this one.
Are you saying they fumbled the ball?
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm interested to find out. I guess it's good that it's not a school shooting.
So the person who passed away, his name is Corey Carpatore, who is killed after a gunman targeted former President Donald J. Trump.
Died a hero.
Yep, he is a former firefighter.
Wow.
He died a hero. Yeah,
that's a shame.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to say. It was human caused tragedy.
Yeah.
I think the world is rough enough as it is with their natural disasters and treating one another with kindness. I'm glad that Biden came out and said that there's no place for this.
Yeah.
Even though he was wrong, there's one place for this. Butler, Pennsylvania, just north of Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow. Oh, look at this.
Support for Butler. Yeah, there's already a GoFundMe.
So the person who was killed at the rally, they've already raised $2,784,000. Look at this. And this is donated protected. So
No, that's a million. 2 million.
$2,784,000.
Wow, almost 3 million.
390.
Wow.
And originally the goal was $1 million, so they actually exceeded it.
Oh my goodness!
Because people saw this. Look at that. You see Trump's face and the blood on it, and he's throwing his fist. And you see this lady here who is like so much smaller than him, like trying to hug him.
Protecting his armpit.
He's like, I don't want you to.
She's protecting his right rib.
Yeah, you gotta protect the right. But I was gonna tell you, I do know that the presidents, they do have these special suits that are bulletproof. They really are.
Are they really? The suit?
Yeah.
Didn't you say there was a hole in the suit though?
I think so. I saw a picture that it looks like when you see Trump, it looks like there's like a little hole on his right shoulder. Like a little hole, like the fabric material. It could have been a bullet. It looked like a hit, but.
I'm still wondering.
But I think
fired.
Yeah, but I think the suit. The one thing about the suit is there's this company in Colombia that makes these suits, and they are very expensive. But they actually have a whole thing where it was on Vice News. The guy put on the suit, and he was like, "Oh man!" And they pull the gun, and they shoot you with the gun to make sure to show you that it's really proof.
Is that before or after you pay? Colombia.
Hopefully after.
Hey, speaking of which, Colombia is playing Argentina in the Copa America final.
That is true. So I think we should probably wrap up our initial review of the Trump assassination.
The Butler, Pennsylvania shooting. Assassination attempt on Donald J. Trump.
And we're just going to say that this is a tragedy.
Yeah.
And hopefully, instead of violence, we choose to speak first.
I'd say let the democratic process play out.
If you want to sell your ideas, be compelling with them. Forcing people to accept your ideas is unacceptable.
If you decide between the ballot and the bullet, choose the ballot.
That's right. And we're not going to give this a review because this is just like our reaction kind of thing. But I think this is something that we should all think about deeply. And, well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Have a good one.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.